One of my viewers asked me why I don't talk about love much, and my channel is called Love, Faith, and Real Estate. And I even had the nerve to put love first, and I don't talk about it. Just a mess, right? Well, today I'm going to be super transparent and not only talk about it, but also talk about why I haven't talked about it previously. Hey, TaNia Thomas here, Jesus lover, dedicated wife and mom, serial entrepreneur, and extraordinary real estate broker. So the reason why I don't talk about it, honestly, was because I didn't want it to taint my image. And that's just being real, for real. So here's the real. My husband is finishing up a prison sentence. He'll be home in about 6 months, but I married him while he was in prison 3.5 years ago. And only the people real close to me know this. So why did I decide to talk about it now and publicly on YouTube? For a couple reasons. One, the Lord showed me that I wasn't totally free. I love my husband, and I'm totally confident in my decision to marry him. And I'm an open book with everything else I love. Y'all see my babies all the time, and y'all for sure hear me talking about Jesus all the time. So why am I hiding? Well, I'm not no more. The other reason is he'll be home soon. And what is it gonna look like? I'm just all of a sudden posting him, because trust me, he is not one that is gonna be hidden anywhere, all right? So let me just tell you a little backstory. We met when I was 18 and a baby. I never met anybody that had a mind like mine and a hustle harder than mine. And he was just super sweet to me and loved me unconditionally. We were friends, real friends. Like, we talked about everything, the good, bad, and ugly, which is what I think I love most about him. And don't let me leave out, he's super fine, at least to me. So all is good stuff, but he was serving a 19-year bid. He's literally been fighting for his freedom since he was in the county jail, all the way until this very day. And I ain't fight with him the whole time. I was super young, like 19, and I had my whole life ahead of me. So I ran, because that's what I knew how to do best at the time. I had other relationships in between, and sadly to say, I looked for him in every single relationship, and I couldn't find him. So we remained friends like the whole entire time, even though I had other men and he had other women, but we was friends, it was cool. That's what we started out as. What was funny is when I broke up with my ex, I wouldn't tell him, because I knew he was gonna come for me. I just knew it. So I was like, let's just keep this a secret. But what is crazy is that when we talked about it, like when I finally talked about it, it just so happened that we both had broke up with our exes on that exact same day. Crazy, like for real crazy. But at that time, we just really connected because we were both on our own spiritual journeys. So I had a journal. So I was like, we was on our spiritual journeys, we was talking, and I was, really like feeling him, because I honestly fell out of love with him. I loved him, but we weren't connected in that sense anymore. But I felt like I was starting to fall back in love with him. So I didn't want him to know. So I kept a journal. And this journal was between me and God. So I would write everything I felt, about him and different things, so I wouldn't share with him or anybody else, right? And what was crazy is he would call me and end up saying the same thing I wrote. I'm like, Lord, what is this about? So I told my best friend, and then I ended up telling my other best friend a little bit down the line. And they were super supportive, surprisingly. At first. I gotta throw in at first. All right. What happened was I remember, I really didn't talk to God much about me and him being in a relationship. But I remember one day I was just sitting there and I'm like, Lord, I think I'm ready to talk to you about D'Angelo. And so when he talked to me, when we started talking about him, he just told me that he was my husband, right? And I'm like, are you sure? So I was a little happy, but still like, God, really? But I remember the Lord, we talked about him a lot. We started talking about him a lot then. And I remember God saying that he had to get free of some things before he freed him to me. I don't know if you heard another one of my videos where I talked about me marrying him at the wrong time, but God grace sustained us through it, right? So what happened there is, honestly, I think my emotions got caught up in it, kind of caught up in his emotions, right? Because he wanted to get married while he was there, and I wanted to get married when he came home. And I believed it was definitely God's will for us to get married when he came home, right? But somehow I tricked myself into believing that I should marry him then, and that it was God's will, even though God had already told me at first that, you know, he had to get free of some things, right? Now, it was sure some tactics of the enemy tied in there, because I went through a really tough patch, and I almost lost some relationships that were really near and dear to my heart. But I have to say, I learned so much, and I got so much closer to God, because I really felt like God and my mom were the only people that I had on my side. But we got through it, and we're 3.5 years in and stronger than ever, individually and as a unit. So that's the beginning of my fully transparent love story. And at this moment in my life, I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. And since I'm free for real now, you'll hear more about love, especially in about 6 months. Y'all gonna get tired of us for real. So if you wanna see more content like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop new content.